Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. We've got news out of Raleigh where a Greenville gang member is now going to be spending the next 6 years in federal prison. U.S. Attorney's Office says Leonard Williams Jr. was given the sentence after a guilty plea back in February. The 36-year-old Williams admitted to possession with intent to distribute cocaine and possession of a firearm in furtherance of drug activity. The feds say the Greenville Regional Drug Task Force made several controlled buys of cocaine from Williams last summer. Then on August 12th, they raided a home on Ward Street, finding an ounce of cocaine and a loaded .40 caliber handgun. Prosecutors say Williams is a validated member of the 83 Set Crips and has prior conviction in 2016 for conspiracy to commit second-degree murder. Also want to turn our attention to the ongoing situation between Israel and Iran. President Trump again continuing to insist the ceasefire is intact and is in place despite early violations. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Tel Aviv.
Well, we've passed the 12-hour mark where that fragile truce was supposed to be joined by the Israelis, and now it looks as though it is still holding despite the odds and despite back and forth firing between Israel and Iran this morning. Now, here in Tel Aviv, we were woken up to not just one, not two, but three successive sirens, all of them in the space of just about an hour. And this was, very disturbing for a population who probably thought that they were going to never hear a siren, at least for the time being. There is a lot of confidence here that this deal is going to hold, despite what we heard this morning. And people that I've been speaking to or are close to the Prime Minister's office, they tell me that this is seen as finished. And even though the Israelis haven't necessarily gotten all of what they wanted, all of what Benjamin Netanyahu had proposed, which is the total destruction of Iran's nuclear program, it looks as though they're prepared to quiet their guns for the time being. There are still assessments about just how much damage the U.S. and the Israelis have done against the Iranians over the past more than 10 days. So it's still yet to be known what happened to Iran's nuclear stockpile, what happened to most of its weapons, and whether or not even that regime is going to remain in power. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Thank you very much, Matt, for that report. We now want to again talk about your weather forecast. It is hot, it is humid, and it's unfortunately going to be staying that way as we head into tomorrow. Not a whole lot of change coming up for tomorrow until we get into the afternoon. At that point, we're going to be talking about some showers and potentially even some thunderstorms out there. That will act as a coolant, something we could very much use today. Right now, we've got 93 degrees along the Neuse River in New Bern. East-southeasterly wind at 5 miles an hour. Air temperatures, again, a little bit cooler along the Neuse right now, but it feels like 107. So let's all step back and say, all right, yeah, it's still feeling pretty gross out there. At least in terms of heat and humidity. Sunshine, great, but yeah, it is just a scorcher today. 93 degrees right now in Morehead City. East-southeasterly wind 9 miles an hour. Feels like 103 when you factor in that 74-degree dew point. Humidity high throughout eastern North Carolina. I want to take that plane and try to find someplace cooler. 95 degrees in Greenville, feels like 105 thanks to a 73-degree dew point. Here's a look at your current air temperatures across the board. Seeing again a showing of the upper 90s. You got 99 degrees in Windsor right now, 97 in Kinston. The rest of eastern North Carolina generally in the low to mid 90s. A little bit cooler than what we had anticipated, but we may gain a couple more degrees from now until we get to around maybe 3-4 p.m. I think around 3:30 we should hit our peak heat of the day. And that, of course, will come with peak humidity as well, which keeps our air temperatures feeling like we're well into the triple digits. Some areas feeling like they're over 110 degrees outside. It is going to be just a super hot week once we wrap it up and put a bow on it. Right now, again, air temperatures a little bit lower than what we had anticipated. I think most areas will likely avoid the upper 90s at this point unless you're already sitting at around 96, 97 degrees, which a few of us are, but not all of us. So again, positive news in that regard, but the heat hangs on overnight tonight, hanging in the mid 80s as we head towards 11 p.m. Normally, again, the mid-80s would feel like a nice daytime high, but no, that's our 11 p.m. air temperature. Let's talk about the showers and storms we're going to see tomorrow. Not going to happen there early on in the morning. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover present early on in the day, but we're going to have to wait until we get into the afternoon before we really start to see that potential for thunderstorms developing. There's a look at around 2 o'clock, and again, some showers over Johnston and Wake counties, excuse me. But as we head a little bit deeper into your Wednesday afternoon to Wednesday evening, you'll certainly see a little bit more activity over eastern North Carolina. Now, I do want to highlight the fact that not everyone will see rain tomorrow. So if you don't see rain, then you're, again, likely going to be staying hot and toasty coming in on Thursday. We're only anticipating a couple degrees of a drop from your Wednesday into Thursday, but a couple degrees can make a world of difference. High pressure system, again, creating these heat problems that we have, will continue to move off the coast. Will allow, there you can see some showers and storms trying to roll across eastern North Carolina. There you're seeing that big push through your Wednesday afternoon to Wednesday evening. An outflow boundary will likely carry a lot of those showers and storms down across South Carolina and then into Georgia as well. But that frontal boundary you're seeing off toward the west, that's not going to be crossing over eastern North Carolina anytime soon. Tropical storm Andrea, the Atlantic, woke up today. Decided, you know what, today's a day for a tropical storm. The good news is it picked a perfect spot for one. Middle of the northern Atlantic, going to move northeast over the next few days, but the whole system itself is likely going to be dying out over the next 24 hours. Maximum sustained wind gusts right now, maximum sustained winds, I should say, 40 miles an hour, maximum gusts up to 50 miles an hour. But Andrea was never one that was going to be impressive. Wasn't going to be one that is going to affect eastern North Carolina. This thing is way out in the middle of the Atlantic. No threat for us from that system, not even a wave threat. So here's what we've got over the next 8 days. Again, want to highlight the fact that we are again looking at that cold front finally moving over the East Coast by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That will bring air temperatures down to a more reasonable level coming in on Wednesday if, again, that cold frontal speed holds and maintains. But then again, we could certainly see some stronger showers and storms rolling in on Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, tomorrow, first alert weather day for those storms and the high heat index. That high heat will likely carry over through the weekend. Just a scorcher of a week, but at least we've got some light at the end of the tunnel that we can all kind of look forward to. Well, that's all we have time for today's 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday.